Let me at the outset thank Dr. Khanna and the office bearers of this excellent cardiovascular meeting. What I'm going to discuss is a very interesting molecule that is glycoside, a sulfonylurea, which has a lot of cardiovascular implications, and therefore discussion on this particular molecule is very appropriate for this meeting. Of course, diabetes is so rampant, I don't want to go into details of that, and India, of course, is leading in many ways there. Yes, yes. Okay, so of course, we still must appreciate that besides insulin resistance, you see, beta cell failure is an important component of type 2 diabetes. As a matter of fact, at the time of diagnosis, 50% of beta cell function is lost. And of course, it relentlessly goes down. Therefore, probably the secretagogues like sulfonylurea still are very, very rational form of therapy. Of course, diabetes is a vascular disease, and that is why very rarely discuss this most meetings. And of course, it has multiple patients related to heart, nerves, and kidney. And of course, heart and kidney is getting tied up very closely now. So we are studying the effect of all anti-diabetic agents on the heart and kidney. And I'm sure after some time, we'll have data on the liver, which is also going to be connected in next decade or so because of NAFLD. So management of diabetes, of course, glycemic control is important. We always have appreciated that comorbidity control is very important, but also again and again, we come back to the original theme of glycemic control. And as UKPD showed, the good glycemic control will give you these micro and macrovascular benefits. Macrovascular to less extent, but microvascular for sure, quite significantly. This study showed that intensive control arm gives you good cardiovascular benefits. This is the history of some of these drugs, and I must tell you that the molecule I'm discussing, that the glycoside was introduced or discovered somewhere in 1970 and came in clinical practice in the next 5 to 10 years. And we have been using it in India for now almost 40 years. And this is one sulfonylurea which has stood the test of time. For example, glibenclamide, the chlorpropamide is almost in disuse now, and of course glibenclamide also is hardly used, while this one is enduring for the reasons that I will outline in these short span of 15 minutes. You see, of course, we know that sulfonylureas are very important drugs. And with the advent of newer drugs, we are losing sight of the fact that some of these drugs are very effective. And as we will see, they may also be as cardiovascular friendly as we now describe currently especially regarding SGLT2 inhibitors and GLP receptor agonists. So the mode of action of sulfonylureas, of course, is the action on some receptors on the beta cell surface, which is made up of two components, what is called sulfonylurea receptor and the KIR 0.1 or 0.2. So it says 0.2 on beta cell. So these are two components of this. And of course, this depolarizes, sulfonylurea depolarizes this, and thereby they open the gated, the voltage sensitive calcium channels, and with the ingress of calcium, the cytosolic calcium going up, there is beta cell insulin secretion. Remember that besides these two components of the receptor, sulfonylurea receptor and KIR 6.2, 6.1 receptor, there is also another component of this receptor, that is the APAC2. And this is very interesting receptor, because the action on this receptor produces far more enhanced insulin secretion, while if it does not, the glycoside, which does not work on this component of receptor, produces a insulin secretion which is not as brisk and not as profound, so that the incidence of hypoglycemia is much less. And this is the reason why this molecule has scored over many other sulfonylureas. So what is the difference in this molecule? So these are the receptors which I told you, and it so happens that this drug is highly selective regarding the beta cell receptors. For example, its main action is on the pancreatic beta cell receptors here, and much less so in the cardiac, skeletal muscle, smooth muscle cell receptor. And the ratio of pancreas to heart selectivity, you see, it is highly selective selective molecule, as you'll see, as compared here with glibenclamide and glimepiride. So very selective action on the pancreatic beta cell receptor. The glycemic control is very good with this drug, and it's very, for example, here you see in the advanced trial, which was one of the extensive trial undertaken with the use of this drug, and of course the A1C lowering is good. We shall see data on A1C lowering further, because sulfonylureas are still the drug which can lower the A1C by 1.5%, or when combined with metformin about 3%. And you will see that there are not many other modern drugs which do that, except of course insulin can do that. And fortunately this drug does so without much hypoglycemia, and that probably is unique aspect of this drug. You see, this is the trial with this modified form of glycoside, which is very much in current use, because it offers the same effect of 30 milligram as in 80 milligram of plain preparation, with much less exposure to the body with the high levels of the drug. So the levels achieved are very low, yet the physiological effects derived are same. So therefore, this study was conducted, you see, by the use of this drug, maximum dose being the modified milligram a day, and you see A1C lowering with this maximum. So if you use median dose also, you'll get a A1C lowering of 2.3%, which is spectacular if you compare with modern drugs. You see, like SGLT2 inhibitors or DPP4 inhibitors, where it doesn't go beyond 0.8% or 1%. Compared to vildagliptin, you'll see the effect at the background of metformin. Vilda and glycoside have similar efficacy in lowering blood glucose. All these drugs, which includes, of course, our modern drugs we talk about, the SGLT2 inhibitors and all, they all delayed the initiation of insulin therapy, and quite rightfully, because the control you achieve with these drugs really can postpone insulin therapy for quite some time. It is not necessary that we postpone, that insulin is undesirable. There is nothing of that kind of approach, but you see, I must tell you that the stability of response you get to oral drug in general, all diabetologists realize is not possible to achieve with insulin therapy. So glycoside is more than insulin secretagogue, it's just an extra pancreatic effect. I must tell you that all sulfonylureas have extra pancreatic effects. And as a matter of fact, although it is not appreciated by the current diabetologists, because some of this literature is almost 30 or 40 years old, where the first insulin sensitizer described were sulfonylureas. They are very potent insulin sensitizers, and and at various levels they will induce this insulin sensitivity by different mechanisms. And I have some old, you see, monographs completely describing extra pancreatic effect of sulfonylureas, which are hardly appreciated currently. So it's not only beta cell stimulation, but even type 2 diabetes is very poor insulin secretion, or you see also they are effective because of these extra pancreatic effects. Besides that, many thrombotic effects, and those are all surrogate markers with which all of you as cardiologists and vascular physicians are very familiar, so I will not expand on that. But all these surrogate markers change quite favorably with the use of this drug, like anti-thrombotic effect, you see effect on the plasminogen 1 inhibitor. So all those, I think, antioxidant effect, you see peroxides are changed, superoxide dismutase is changed, platelet aggregation is changed. So these hemobiological effect of these drugs are really noteworthy. This has not been shown with other sulfonylurea. So this is a very interesting aspect of use of this drug. And of course, it can also lower the beta cell apoptosis. So, you know, there are some drugs which now we think preserve beta cell. Beta cell preservation has been our endeavor and has been a slogan with many drugs, but sometimes it has been not proven in the long run to be really beta cell preservation. This drug does have a property of slowing down the apoptosis of beta cells. The cardiovascular effects of drugs are of course extremely important now to study. You know how all the new trials came into picture. The ischemic preconditioning of myocardium also is through a receptor which is like sulfonylurea 2A receptor. See, and if this receptor, you see, is interfered with, then the ischemic preconditioning is affected. So I think with many sulfonylureas, the ischemic preconditioning effect is poor, and that is the glibenclamide for sure. And of course, and even with glipizide, well, gimipiride and gliclazide do not interfere with ischemic preconditioning of myocardium. See, and of course, remember that in gliclazide, both the major cardiovascular event as well as major microvascular events you see in this advanced trial, more than what 11,000 patients, you see in both these areas there was some benefit. In macrovascular to less extent, but microvascular good amount of benefit, especially in nephropathy. And nephropathy effect was really quite marked in this study, advanced study. Even the acute myocardial infarction, the hospitalized patients who are already on sulfonylureas, and it was appreciated those which are with treatment with gliclazide or gimipiride suffer much less hospital mortality than those on glibenclamide. So probably that's why glibenclamide has gone into disuse. See, cardiovascular mortality between the sulfonylureas, if you see here between different sulfonylureas. See, and this is 18 studies meta-analysis of more than 1.6 lakh patients. And you see here gliclazide is the only drug, you see, and to some extent gimipiride, which changed the all-cause mortality and cardiovascular mortality, while the other sulfonylureas, some of them were obviously detrimental, as you see some of these old sulfonylureas here. Less hypoglycemia, and hypoglycemia is always tied down with weight gain as well. So this receptor we discussed, the EPAC2 activation, which of course does not occur with the gliclazide, and that's why the hypoglycemia risk is much reduced. So I think that point has been made, so I'll go over rapidly. You see, so the lower hypoglycemia with gliclazide has been proven, you see, in the meta-analysis of 9 studies, and here you see hypoglycemia is much less in the case of gliclazide, as you see on this side, is much less than the other sulfonylurea. So this is a very important differentiation, clinical, and of course, when hypoglycemia is less, weight gain is less. They are both, most of the time in all studies, these are tied up together, so there is less weight gain. The nephroprotective effect of gliclazide was very well brought out, and the mechanism of which may be some of these hemobiological effects that I described earlier, and we can't expand on that, but you're familiar with some of vascular disease. And of course, here you see in the clinical study, in the advanced study, the amount of renal benefit. You see some regression of albuminuria, and of course progression was stopped here, and you see some primary prevention was possible, and most important, where there can be no controversy, end-stage renal disease was reduced by 65%. Besides the advanced study, advanced on study, the analysis was done after 5 years of conclusion of the study, and there's also the benefits were shown to the extent of about 40%. So you can see that this benefit is further transferred. You see, to end-stage renal disease, you can see here, you see is both glimepiride and gliclazide can be beneficial, and of course they almost go neck to neck here, comparable in this regard. However, hypoglycemia are very different within these two, and therefore it's very important to know. So the guidelines that we have, you see, they now describe very well that if there is vascular disease, you use SGLT2 inhibitor or GLP-RA, very much so. And remember, there is a lot of propensity for hypoglycemia, use some drug, and obesity. But remember that in all the recommendation, cost has been highlighted recently. And of course, sulfonylurea happen to be the least expensive drugs in our armamentarium. And the modern sulfonylurea like gimipiride or gliclazide, and there are some differences that I brought up between these two. Gliclazide scores as a very modern sulfonylurea, especially modified release form, which has so much less hypoglycemia and clear vascular and kidney benefits. So of course, very clearly shown in the guidelines, and they don't even say use sulfonylurea. They straight say use gliclazide. You see, and for sensitive, ADA again has shown that if person is metformin intolerant, it can be the first drug exhibited in type 2 diabetics. So remember that the gliclazide can be combined with any other drugs, except of course the uh, uh, I would say, except of course the glinides, which are against secretagogues. Apart from that, is excellent combination with metformin, and sometimes even with very unsuccessful insulin therapy in the form of major bolus therapy, 3 to 4 shots of insulin a day. If a type 2 diabetes does not respond, at least in practice, I have introduced metformin and glycoside together, plain glycoside, small doses, 40 to 20 milligram 3 times a day. So 500 metformin and 40 milligram or 80 milligram of glycoside, and use that 3 times a day. You can induce tremendous sensitization with insulin therapy, and of course the insulin doses come down, and overall therefore you face much less hypoglycemia. So this strategy is really wonderful, and this combination of the insulin therapy, all that has been described. In comorbidities it can be used up to eGFR 30, it can be used in reduced doses, because renal excretion is hardly 5% of this drug, and there are no metabolites of drug which have hypoglycemic effect. So some of these very interesting aspects of this drug, including in situations where you face hypoglycemia, like fasting, Ramadan fasting, or for that matter, any other religious fasting, where you see you want to use the drugs very carefully and use those which will not produce hypoglycemia. So I think, in summary, we have looked at this molecule, especially the new avatar of glycoside, that is modified release, and you see it works on these organ systems, you see, and you see the mechanism of actions here, and ultimately you end up with good glycemic control, reduced albuminuria, and better cardiovascular outcomes. So thank you very much for your patient hearing.
Thank you, Dr. Chandelia.
Thank you very much, Dr. Chandelia. That was really wonderful, and it was, quite like a great teacher explaining everything, and it was a good way to actually reintroduce confidence in this drug.